Teenagers in the 70s and 80s. No social media, no problem. Before selfies and social media, teenagers in the 70s and 80s lived life differently. More freedom, more adventure, and unforgettable moments. Let's take a nostalgic look at how teens thrived in a world without smartphones. Nobody is cool anymore, because the 1970s used it all. Chilling on the beach in the 1970s, a time of sun-kissed skin, beachy vibes, and carefree summers. The boardwalk in Long Branch in 1978. Relaxing in the sunshine, 1972. Noon, 70s to 80s kids will remember. '70s, street style, denim, stripes, and cool vibes, 1976. I want to go back in the 1970s and stay there forever. Lazy afternoons and endless love, early 70s. Pizza party in the 1970s. New Smyrna Beach, 1970s. Before cell phones, we had this, 1980s. Andy Gibb posing with a fan in the late 70s. Hanging out at the beach and probably not a care in the world. Burger King in 1984. Fast food and busy streets, New York, 1977. What was the lifestyle like in the 1970s? My favorite childhood memory. Manhattan Bridge Tower in Brooklyn, New York City, framed through nearby buildings in June of 1974. New Yorkers line up to receive free gifts at a Herald Square store opening in May of 1973. A fire hydrant sprays water behind 3 young girls on Bond Street in Brooklyn, July 1974. The World Trade Center stands above Lower Hudson River shipping activity, seen from the Staten Island Ferry in May of 1973. Students play in the wind during a school excursion on the Staten Island Ferry, crossing Upper New York Bay in June of 1973. Abandoned giant slide at Coney Island in May of 1973. Sixth Avenue and 32nd Street, New York City, April 1973. '70s, groovy chicks. '70s Levi jeans ad for chicks. '70s style custom show car. High school hallway fashion, USA, late 1989. Tennis chic in the sun, California, 1977. '72, Mercury to college every day. '70s, style custom choppers. Teacher and students at Cathedral Senior High School in New Ulm, Minnesota, 1975. Teacher and students in the one-room Rock School Schoolhouse in Rifle, Colorado, April 1973. Boy at bat in a softball game in Highland Park, Brooklyn, in July of 1974. Despite warning signs, illegal dumping continues in this area, just off the New Jersey Turnpike facing Manhattan in March of 1973. Left, a young New Yorker ready to roar off on his Honda in June of 1973. Right, an elevated train platform in Brooklyn, New York City, June 1974. Interior of a graffiti-marked subway car, May 1973. One of several high-rise apartments whose construction was stopped by city ordinance to preserve the Breezy Point Peninsula for public recreational use in May of 1973. An oil slick surrounds Liberty Island in New York Harbor in May of 1973. Public payphone stalls in use at Broadway and 34th Street in May of 1973. The first handheld mobile phone call in history was made 1 month prior to this photo in Midtown Manhattan in April 1973, when Martin Cooper, a Motorola researcher, made a call to his chief competitor, Dr. Joel S. Engel, head of Bell Labs. Preparing in-flight meals on Pan Am Airlines in 1977. Hitching a Ride in Style, 1976. Galveston in 1973. Anthony Michael Hall and Molly Ringwald. Another lovely bridal party from the 70s. Crowd gathered at the Schaefer Bandstand in Central Park to hear singer Judy Collins with a dramatic view of the towers of Midtown Manhattan in June of 1973. Midtown traffic congestion and jaywalking pedestrians in April of 1973. Midsummer Evening Quilting Bee in Central Park, sponsored by the New York Parks Administration Department of Cultural Affairs in June of 1973. An auto chassis submerged in Jamaica Bay near Breezy Point in May of 1973. Commuters on the Staten Island Ferry in New York Harbor's Upper Bay in May of 1973. Students study at Cathedral Senior High School in New Ulm, Minnesota, 1975. Students rest against their lockers waiting for classes at a senior high in New Ulm, Minnesota, 1975. Students arrive for school at a senior high in New Ulm, Minnesota, 1975. Idled traffic heading north on 6th Avenue, Avenue of the Americas, near 42nd Street, April 1973. Children at Reese Park, a public beach in Brooklyn, July 1974. Holland Tunnel traffic backed up on Canal Street in May of 1973. Construction on Lower Manhattan's west side, just north of the World Trade Center, in May of 1973. '70s cool cats with badass rides talking jive. In 6th grade, 1982, these were big to wear in our hair. Houston in 1974. Edgewater Park in Detroit in 1981. A sidewalk in the Bronx becomes a playground for youngsters in April of 1973. Youngsters at play on the July 4th holiday at the Kosciuszko swimming pool in Brooklyn's Bedford-Stuyvesant district in July 1974. School children on their way home in Great Kills on Staten Island in May of 1973. Children play in front of a train graffiti in Brooklyn's Lynch Park in June of 1974. A traffic accident on a crowded street in Harlem in May of 1973. Passengers wait for a Lexington Avenue Line subway train on one of the platforms of the New York City Transit Authority. April 1974. Students in typing class at a senior high in New Ulm, Minnesota, 1975. Teacher and students in the one-room Rock School schoolhouse in Rifle, Colorado, April 1973. Life in the 1970s. Stewart Beach in Galveston in the early 1970s. (1969) ad for Barbie. Kids these days never understand. Oh, Snoopy. 74 years ago, Charlie found his dog. Racing Days and Carefree Summers, 1979. Where I come from, this is also known as a flathead screwdriver. Life in the 1970s. There was no internet, no mobile phones, no social media. Music, friendship, and relaxation. The perfect evening 70s. '70s style Mean Street Machines. Chi-Chi's is coming back in 2025. (1971) The Faces. Shopping for groceries way back when. Ready for some 70s summer fun with a Pinto and a cooler of ice. I may be old, but I grew up with the best music. (1970s) toys. If you remember this, your knees pop when you stand up now. Oakland Mall in Troy in the 1970s. Southwest Freeway in Houston in 1972. When a Gen X wins the lottery, there will be signs. Rompers. Roadside break on a family trip, 1978. Way Back Wednesday. Priscilla Presley driving through the gates of Graceland in 1968. Living Room Decor, 1971. Classic bike, classic style, mid-1970s. Cincinnati in 1978. Ruby Tuesday Restaurant on West End Avenue in Nashville in 1984. The Cowboy Motel in Amarillo in 1977. "45 years later, and I still believe and trust the fish." Remember when you couldn't find a lighter? Northland Mall in Columbus in the 1980s. Taco Bell in the 80s. Weekend vibes with a muscle car, 1975. Road trip before all the fast food joints. Kids back then couldn't go without these toy sets. West Beach in Galveston in 1972. What are they playing? Who misses the 80s? A typical weekend in the 80s. You probably won't know what this is, but if you do, you are really old. Our parents really used to drop us off at the skating rink with money and leave. This was our stimulus package back in the day. Hoboken Terminal in the early 80s. I was Stanley when Stanley wasn't cool. As a kid, This was my iPad. '70s style Mean Street machines. Groovy '70s architecture. I want to go back in the 1970s. Here's some proof that your mom was cooler than you and that the 1970s awesome. Stay there forever. Remember when hamburgers were 25 cents? I'm this old. How about you? (1972) Kmart cashiers preparing for Groovy Day. Now I really wish they still made this. This was my go-to choice for gum. I love driving in winter. Great cars, cheap gas, and great music. (1971) high school parking lot. The old days. I want to go back in the 1970s, stay there forever. School really had us eating pizza with chocolate milk at 11 a.m. I miss walking into my grandparents' house and smelling my grandma's cooking. How 80s kids dealt with stress. I'm this old. I want to go back to that beautiful time. A classic grocery run. Winn-Dixie, 1984. Art class students at Cathedral Senior High School in New Ulm, Minnesota, 1975. A&P in Wayne, Michigan in the 1960s. Librarian at the card files at a senior high school in New Ulm, Minnesota, 1975. I'm in 5th grade. When our classwork is done, we are allowed to go pick a SRA to read at our desks. Second graders recite the Pledge of Allegiance at Rockport Elementary School in Gloucester, Massachusetts, February 1973. Students work on an ecology project at a school in Fort Smith, Arkansas, May 1972. School children on their way home in Great Kills, NY, May 1973. Latin youths at Lynch Park in Brooklyn in June of 1974. The 70s were packed with unforgettable snacks, gooey, crunchy, and downright fun. From the cheesy bite of doodads to the magic of Jell-O 1, 2, 3, these treats defined a generation. But not all survived the test of time. Ready to relive the flavors of your childhood? Let's dive in. Space food sticks. Who didn't want to eat like an astronaut? In the 1970s, space food sticks gave kids and adults alike a bite-sized taste of space travel. Created by Pillsbury in collaboration with NASA, these chewy, tube-shaped snack sticks were modeled after the real food astronauts ate during missions. At a time when the world was obsessed with the space age, nothing felt cooler than snacking like a real astronaut. Available in chocolate, peanut butter, and caramel flavors, space food sticks weren't just a gimmick. They were actually nutrient-packed and designed for energy, making them a go-to snack for kids, athletes, and sci-fi dreamers. They were lightweight, easy to store, and marketed as the perfect on-the-go treat. Some even believed they were the future of snacking, offering a glimpse into what food might look like in space colonies. However, by the late 70s, as public fascination with the Apollo missions faded, so did space food sticks. They gradually disappeared from store shelves, leaving a generation with only memories of their soft, chewy texture and futuristic appeal. Did you ever try any of these iconic treats? Which one was your absolute favorite? Pizza spins. Before pizza-flavored everything took over snack aisles, there was one snack that did it first and did it best. Enter pizza spins, the legendary bite-sized treat from General Mills. Launched in the late 60s and beloved throughout the 70s, these little crispy wonders weren't just shaped like spinning wheels. They delivered an explosion of real pizza flavor. With a perfect balance of tangy tomato, zesty cheese, and a blend of savory spices, pizza spins weren't just a snack. They were a full pizza experience in a crunchy, poppable bite. General Mills pulled out all the stops to market pizza spins, with commercials that made them seem like the ultimate party snack. Kids couldn't get enough, and they quickly became a lunchbox favorite. But despite their popularity, pizza spins vanished by the mid-70s. Some blame competition from rising snack giants like Doritos, while others believe they were just ahead of their time. For those lucky enough to have tasted them, pizza spins remain one of the greatest lost snacks of the era. Fans still dream of a comeback, because, let's be honest, no modern pizza snack has ever quite measured up. Tuna twist. In the 1970s, canned tuna was a household staple, and tuna twist was the secret ingredient that gave it a flavorful upgrade. Released by General Mills, this dry seasoning mix transformed basic tuna salad into something exciting and new. Each box contained pre-measured seasoning packets, offering flavors like cheesy, zesty onion and tangy Italian, giving home cooks an easy way to add variety to a familiar dish. Tuna twist wasn't just about convenience. It was a dinner shortcut that fit perfectly into the busy, fast-paced lifestyle of the 70s. Families could quickly mix a packet into their tuna and create something different each time. The marketing campaign featured cheerful commercials with happy families enjoying their jazzed-up tuna dishes, all while the catchy jingle encouraged everyone to put a twist in your tuna tonight. Despite its popularity, tuna twist disappeared by the end of the decade. The rise of new convenience foods and changing consumer tastes pushed it off store shelves. Though it's long gone, for those who grew up in the 70s, tuna twist remains a nostalgic reminder of a time when dinner could be reinvented with a single packet. Please comment "like" to let me know you'll be watching this video until the end. Kugel. In 1971, Kraft Foods introduced Kugel, a peanut butter spread with a twist. Unlike regular peanut butter, Kugel was ultra smooth and didn't stick to the roof of your mouth. But what really made it stand out? The flavors. Kugel came in chocolate, cinnamon, banana, and vanilla, making it a game changer for kids who weren't fans of traditional peanut butter. Kugel's branding was just as unique as its taste. The mascot, an alien-like creature with scraggly blue hair, 4 eyeballs, and a peanut butter jar for a body, became an instant hit. The big letter K on its chest made it look like a superhero from another planet, and kids loved it. Parents, on the other hand, appreciated that Kugel enticed even the pickiest eaters to enjoy peanut butter. Despite its popularity, Kugel was discontinued by the mid-1970s. The reasons remain unclear, but changing tastes and evolving food trends may have played a role. Today, it remains a nostalgic memory for those lucky enough to have tasted it. Do you remember spreading Kugel on toast or eating it straight from the jar? Danish go-rounds. Before Pop-Tarts became the king of toaster pastries, there was a forgotten gem that set the stage: Danish go-rounds. Introduced by Kellogg's in the early 1970s, these pastries had a unique circular design that set them apart from their rectangular rivals. More than just a novelty, Danish go-rounds delivered on flavor, offering a flaky, swirled pastry packed with delicious fillings like apple, cinnamon, and cherry. They weren't just breakfast, they were a warm, gooey treat that felt like a little indulgence before school. What made Danish go-rounds special was their texture. Unlike the firmer crust of a Pop-Tart, these had a softer, layered pastry that made them feel more like a traditional Danish. They toasted up beautifully, giving you a crispy edge with a warm, fruity center. For a brief moment, they had their time in the spotlight. But as breakfast trends shifted, Pop-Tarts dominated supermarket shelves, and Danish go-rounds quietly disappeared. Kellogg's made an attempt to revive them as Danish rings, but the magic just wasn't the same. If you ever had the pleasure of biting into a Danish go-round, you probably still remember that perfectly balanced sweetness. Would they stand a chance against Pop-Tarts today? Maybe. But some classics are best remembered as they were, a sweet slice of 1970s nostalgia. Banana flip. Imagine a golden, pillowy sponge cake, folded in half like a crescent moon and bursting with rich, banana-flavored cream. Bigger than your average snack cake, the banana flip felt extra special, making it a lunchtime legend for kids and a guilty pleasure for adults. Back in the 70s, banana-flavored treats were all the rage, and brands scrambled to create the next big banana sensation. While Hostess and other companies had their versions, the banana flip reigned supreme. Its light, airy cake and perfectly balanced banana filling made it a must-have. But as snack trends shifted, the banana flip slowly disappeared from store shelves, leaving fans heartbroken. Today, those who remember still crave that signature taste and texture. While you can find similar banana snack cakes, nothing quite compares to the iconic banana flip. If it ever made a comeback, there's no doubt it would flip the snack world upside down again. Freaky's cereal. Breakfast in the 1970s wasn't just about fueling up for the day. It was about collecting, trading, and diving into a world of imagination. And no cereal captured that excitement quite like Freaky's. Created by Ralston Purina, Freaky's wasn't just another sugary breakfast option. It was a full-blown experience. At its core, the cereal was simple: sweetened, crunchy corn puffs that kids loved. But what really made it special was the cast of quirky, colorful characters that came with it. The Freakies weren't just mascots. They were a group of oddball creatures, each with their own distinct personality. There was Boss Moss, the leader, Snorkeldorf, the thinker, Grumble, the complainer, Goody Goody, the sweet one, Cow Mumble, the quiet type, Hamhose, the energetic one, and Gargle, the goofball. These lovable creatures lived in the mystical Freakies tree, a setting that played a starring role in the cereal's commercials. But the magic didn't stop there. Freakies came with collectible toys, turning breakfast into an adventure. Kids scrambled to get them all, making the cereal a must-have. Sadly, Freakies disappeared by the late 70s. An attempt to revive it in the 80s just didn't capture the same magic, proving that some childhood favorites are best left in the past, where they remain legendary. Marathon Bar. The Marathon Bar, introduced by Cadbury and sold in the US by Mars, challenged kids of the 70s to see just how long they could stretch out its chewy, caramel-packed goodness. Wrapped in its signature bright red packaging, this treat wasn't your typical chocolate bar. Instead of a solid block, the Marathon Bar featured an intricate braided caramel rope coated in smooth milk chocolate. And let's talk about its legendary 8-inch length. So long that the wrapper even included a ruler, just to prove it. The Marathon Bar wasn't a quick snack. It was a commitment. Whether you were slowly nibbling your way through a matinee double feature or daring your friends to see who could stretch their bar the longest, it became a badge of honor to make it last. Unfortunately, like many great things from the 70s, the Marathon Bar was discontinued in the US by 1981. However, the spirit of this chewy classic lives on overseas as the Curly Whirly, still delighting candy lovers. For those who remember, nothing has ever quite replaced the thrill and the challenge of the Marathon Bar. Reggie Bar. When a candy bar is named after a baseball legend, you know it's bound to be a big hit. Literally. In the late 1970s, few players were as electrifying as Reggie Jackson, the slugger who helped lead the New York Yankees to multiple championships. To honor his stardom, the Curtis Candy Company released the Reggie Bar in 1978, making it one of the most iconic sports-related snacks of the decade. The Reggie Bar wasn't just about the name, it was actually delicious. It featured a circular shape resembling a baseball, packed with crunchy peanuts and gooey caramel, all coated in rich milk chocolate. The marketing was just as memorable, with the slogan, "Reggie, it tastes like a candy bar." The candy's real claim to fame? When Reggie Jackson stepped up to the plate at Yankee Stadium, fans would throw Reggie bars onto the field in celebration, turning a simple treat into a true baseball moment. Unfortunately, despite its popularity, the Reggie Bar disappeared after a few years. It made a brief comeback in the 90s, but for kids of the 70s, nothing compared to the thrill of unwrapping a Reggie Bar and feeling like a champion. Crazy Cow Cereal. Released by General Mills, this colorful cereal came in two exciting flavors, chocolate and strawberry. But what made it truly special was its milk-transforming magic. The cereal itself consisted of small, crispy corn puffs coated in a flavored powder. Once you added milk and started eating, the powder would dissolve, changing the milk's color and flavor. A dream come true for kids who loved sweet, flavored milk. The commercials featured a fun and energetic cartoon cow mascot, adding to the cereal's playful appeal. Despite its popularity, Crazy Cow didn't last long, vanishing before the decade ended. Some say it was overshadowed by longer-lasting competitors like Cocoa Puffs and Fruity Pebbles, but for those who had the chance to experience its milk-changing magic, Crazy Cow remains a legendary, nostalgic treat. Chocodiles. Close your eyes and picture a Twinkie. Now imagine it covered in a thick layer of chocolate. That, my friends, was the legendary Chocodile, arguably one of the greatest snack creations of the 1970s. If you were lucky enough to find one in your lunchbox, you knew it was going to be a great day. It wasn't just a snack, it was a golden ticket to dessert heaven. Made by Hostess, the Chocodile was a game changer. While it had the same fluffy cake and sweet, creamy filling as a Twinkie, it was slightly shorter, denser, and coated in a delicious layer of chocolate that added the perfect touch of decadence. One bite, and you were hooked. But there was a catch. Chocodiles weren't always easy to find. They were primarily sold on the West Coast, turning them into a sought-after treasure for snack lovers across the country. Then, tragedy struck. Hostess pulled Chocodiles from store shelves, leaving fans heartbroken. Over the years, they've made a few limited-time returns, but die-hard fans insist that nothing compares to the original. If given the choice between a Twinkie and a Chocodile, let's be honest, you'd pick the Chocodile every time. Doodads Snack Mix. Long before Chex Mix became the go-to party snack, there was Doodads, a savory, crunchy, and endlessly addictive snack mix released by Nabisco. If you grew up in the 1970s or 80s, chances are you remember tearing into a box of Doodads and munching away without realizing how quickly you were finishing it. Doodads featured a perfect blend of cheese crackers, pretzel sticks, peanuts, and toasted cereal pieces, creating a mix of flavors and textures that kept you reaching for more. The name itself, Doodads, was fun, catchy, and memorable, making it stand out from other snacks of the time. It wasn't just a snack, it was a whole experience. Whether you were watching TV, having a party, or packing a lunchbox, Doodads fit every occasion. Nabisco heavily marketed Doodads as a party favorite, and it quickly became a staple at gatherings. However, despite its popularity, Doodads mysteriously disappeared from store shelves, much to the disappointment of fans. While various snack mixes have come and gone, none have quite captured the magic of Doodads. Cheese tidbits. Sometimes the best snacks come in the smallest packages, and Nabisco's cheese tidbits were proof. These tiny golden squares were packed with cheesy goodness, making them an instant hit in the 60s and 70s. Long before Cheez-Its took over the snack aisle, cheese tidbits were the go-to cheese cracker for kids and adults alike. What made them so special? Size and flavor. Unlike larger crackers, these miniature bites were perfect for grabbing by the handful. Each square was coated with a bold, salty cheese flavor that made them addictive. Whether you were munching on them straight from the box, sprinkling them over soup, or using them as party snacks, cheese tidbits were a versatile treat. Nabisco marketed them as the perfect anytime snack, great for lunchboxes, movie nights, or casual munching. But despite their popularity, cheese tidbits mysteriously disappeared from shelves, leaving loyal fans heartbroken. While plenty of cheese crackers exist today, nothing quite captures the nostalgic charm of cheese tidbits. If they ever made a comeback, would you be first in line to grab a box? Dusty cheese. Before microwaves became a kitchen staple, the toaster was king, and Betty Crocker saw an opportunity. In 1973, the company introduced French Toast Witches, a line of toaster-ready stuffed snacks that combined convenience with flavor. These handy toaster treats came in multiple varieties, but two stood out. The sausage and maple flavor resembled French toast, offering a sweet and savory breakfast option. However, the real fan favorite was the Pizza Burger Toast Witch, a pocket-like sandwich that blended pizza and burger flavors into one warm, crispy bite. For a brief moment, Toast Witches seemed poised to become a household staple, catering to busy families and hungry kids looking for a quick, hot snack. But their reign was short-lived. By 1974, sales had peaked, and the product was quietly discontinued. Though Toast Witches faded into obscurity, they paved the way for the next generation of handheld convenience foods. Just a decade later, in 1983, Hot Pockets hit the market, filling the void left behind. While Toastwitches may be gone, their influence lives on in every gooey, cheese-filled bite of their successors. Baron von Redberry. Who needed cartoons when your cereal box came with its own daring pilot? In the 1970s, Baron von Redberry wasn't just a breakfast option. He was an adventure. Created by General Mills, this fruit-flavored cereal combined crunchy, berry-flavored pieces with a touch of tangy zest, making it a hit with kids who craved something bold in the morning. But what really set Baron von Redberry apart was his sky-high rivalry with another cereal ace, Sir Grape Fellow. The two fearless pilots would battle it out in TV commercials, each promoting their own signature flavor, Baron von Redberry with his bright red Berry Blast, and Sir Grapefellow with his grape-infused crunch. Their playful feud made breakfast feel like a high-flying mission, drawing kids into the cereal aisle like never before. Unfortunately, by the mid-70s, both cereal legends crash-landed into obscurity. General Mills attempted to revive Baron von Redberry in the 80s, but it never quite recaptured the magic. Would today's kids trade their modern cereals for one more mission with the Baron? If nostalgia has anything to say about it, the answer is a resounding yes. Concentrate cereal. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't sugary, but concentrate cereal made you feel like you were starting the day right. In an era when breakfast cereals were loaded with cartoon mascots and colorful marshmallows, Concentrate stood apart as the quiet achiever. Released by Kellogg's, Concentrate was marketed as a nutritional powerhouse. It came in a small, unassuming yellow box, much smaller than typical cereal boxes. But what it lacked in size, it made up for in substance. The cereal itself consisted of tiny, golden flakes that were incredibly dense and packed with vitamins. The idea? A little went a long way. Unlike other cereals, you didn't need a huge bowl to feel full. Just a small serving provided a satisfying boost of energy. Kellogg's promoted it as the ultimate fuel for the body, making it popular among parents who wanted their kids to have a healthy, no-nonsense breakfast. But as tastes shifted towards sweeter options, Concentrate slowly disappeared in the late 70s. Funny Face Drink Mix. Funny Face, introduced by Pillsbury, wasn't just about quenching your thirst. It was about making you smile. This wasn't just a powdered drink, it was an experience. Each flavor had its own goofy cartoon mascot, turning every sip into a fun adventure. Kids didn't just drink Goofy Grape, Freckle-Face Strawberry, or Choo Choo Cherry. They bonded with them like old friends. From the moment you ripped open a packet, you knew you were in for a sugar-fueled ride. Well, at least in the early days. Funny Face originally used artificial sweeteners, which wasn't for everyone. But that didn't stop its wild popularity. The commercials were just as zany as the characters, with playful animation and catchy jingles that made kids beg their parents to stock up. Of course, Funny Face had its share of controversy. Some of the original names, like Chinese Cherry and Injun Orange, were wisely changed after backlash. By the late 70s, the craze started to fade, and Kool-Aid ultimately won the drink mix war. But for those who grew up in the era, Funny Face wasn't just a beverage, it was a quirky, colorful, and unforgettable part of childhood. Which long-lost 70s snack do you wish would make a comeback? A. Marathon Bar. B. Pizza Spins. C. PB Max. D. Jell-O 1, 2, 3. E. Other. Please leave your answer in the comments below. Swanson TV dinners. The 1970s were all about convenience, and nothing embodied that better than Swanson TV dinners. These frozen, pre-portioned meals were a game changer for busy families, offering a quick and easy alternative to home-cooked dinners. Just pop one in the oven, and within minutes, a complete meal was ready to enjoy. No prep, no cleanup, just pure convenience. Swanson TV dinners weren't just about saving time. They were a cultural phenomenon. With families spending more time watching television, these compartmentalized foil trays fit perfectly into the growing trend of TV-centric dining. Whether it was Salisbury steak, turkey with stuffing, or fried chicken, each meal was a classic comfort food experience. And let's not forget the desserts. From apple crisp to chocolate brownies, each tray included a sweet reward to finish off the meal. Though Swanson TV dinners still exist today, they've evolved. Gone are the foil trays and the retro packaging that made them feel like a special treat. Microwavable plastic has replaced the classic oven-baked trays, and the charm of sitting down with a metal fork and a TV tray in front of the evening news is now just a nostalgic memory for many. Jell-O 1, 2, 3. One box, 3 layers, and a whole lot of childhood wonder. Jell-O 1, 2, 3 wasn't just a dessert, it was an experience. Introduced by the Jell-O brand, this instant treat felt like a science experiment in your refrigerator. With just one mix, it magically separated as it set, creating 3 distinct layers. A smooth, creamy mousse on top, a lighter, almost foamy middle, and the classic Jell-O gelatin at the bottom. Watching it transform felt like pure magic, making it a favorite for kids and a guaranteed showstopper at family gatherings. But Jell-O 1, 2, 3 wasn't just about looks. It was delicious too. Its versatility meant you could get creative with flavors, from strawberry to lime, and even layer different colors for a dazzling effect. Whether served in fancy dessert glasses or straight from the fridge, it had a way of making any meal feel special. Sadly, by the mid-90s, Jell-O 1, 2, 3 disappeared from store shelves, leaving fans longing for that nostalgic taste. Sure, some have tried to recreate it, but let's be honest, nothing quite compares to the original. If you were lucky enough to experience Jell-O 1, 2, 3, you know it was more than just dessert. It was pure, edible magic. Snack Mate cheese. In the 1970s, Snack Mate cheese made us believe that anything could be instant, easy, and fun, even cheese. This was the original spray cheese in a can, a product that felt both futuristic and indulgent. Released by Kraft, Snack Mate was a revolution in convenience, letting you squirt cheese directly onto crackers, bread, or even straight into your mouth. At a time when quick snacks and processed foods were booming, Snack Mate was a perfect fit. It came in a variety of flavors, including sharp cheddar, Swiss, and even bacon. The marketing made it look effortless and fun, and for kids, there was something magical about watching cheese spray out of a can like whipped cream. While spray cheese still exists today, it no longer holds the same charm and cultural significance. Would a retro rebrand bring it back into the spotlight? Maybe, but nothing could quite recapture the pure joy of that first cheesy squirt. Fruit Brute. He was a werewolf with a sweet tooth, and Fruit Brute was the monster cereal we didn't know we needed. The 1970s were the golden age of monster cereals, with classics like Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and Boo Berry taking over breakfast tables. But in 1974, General Mills introduced a new member to the monster lineup, Fruit Brute. Fruit Brute cereal featured fruity-flavored corn puffs mixed with colorful marshmallows. It wasn't just breakfast, it was an event. Kids loved the bright, playful packaging, and the cereal's werewolf mascot, Fruit Brute, howled his way into Saturday mornings. What set Fruit Brute apart was its bold, mixed fruit flavor, which was different from the berry-based options of its monster siblings. Unfortunately, Fruit Brute was discontinued in 1982, making it one of the shortest-lived monster cereals. but its legacy lived on in pop culture, most notably in Quentin Tarantino's films, where boxes of Fruit Brute appeared in both Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. Though General Mills briefly revived it in 2013 for a limited-time release, nothing quite compares to the original 70s Fruit Brute experience. Did you ever get to taste this legendary werewolf cereal? Muggle Lunch. The 1970s were full of fun and quirky food trends, but Muggle Lunch stood out as one of the most exciting for kids. Unlike traditional frozen meals aimed at adults, Muggle Lunch was designed specifically for children, featuring a compartmentalized tray filled with a variety of kid-friendly foods. Each box had bright, playful packaging that made mealtime feel like an adventure. What made Muggle Lunch unique wasn't just its colorful design or its convenient format. It represented a shift in how kids ate. This was an era when frozen meals were booming, and Muggle Lunch gave children a sense of independence. For many kids, popping one into the oven felt like a grown-up responsibility. Whether it was mini hot dogs, mac and cheese, or chicken nuggets, the meals were crafted to be both tasty and exciting. Despite its appeal, Muggle Lunch eventually disappeared, lost in the wave of evolving food trends. Today, frozen meals for kids still exist, but few have the same nostalgic charm. Life as a teenager in the 70s and 80s was all about real connections, epic adventures, and making memories without screens. Do you miss those days, or wish you could have experienced them? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and relive more nostalgia with us.